Hey friends, Megan McIntosh here. Welcome to this video. Today I am going to talk to you about surrendering to, I got a squeaky chair today, to the creative process and what that means. And I'm going to give you an example of something that I'm working on right now and how my creative process works. So if you're interested in learning about that topic, if you want to learn from another creative, someone that I am a coach, but I'm also a creative and in a sense a performer, you'll be able to learn more about what I do with that. I've been in arts for many, many years. Ever since I was young, I was leaning towards the arts. And I just got a text from my sister about COVID cases in my niece's school, and now she's texting me. Hopefully you guys can hear me, because sometimes the messages come through and my video stops for a second. So hopefully you're good and she doesn't keep texting me. All right, so I love her, but don't text me while I'm live. All right, so, oh yeah, if you're live, let me know. Drop a 1 down below in the comments right now. And if you're watching the replay, a 2 down below in the comments. You can also say where you're coming in from, what city, what town, what country. I am based just outside of Toronto, Canada, in a city called Mississauga. It's a beautiful suburb just west of Toronto. All right, so still getting those text messages. She's writing like 1 line per message. Cracks me up. Okay, so creative process. So right now I'm actually in the midst of working on 3 projects. I would say more than 3 projects, but let me just talk about the 3 projects. So one of the projects is working on basically a coaching portal. So like a kind of a coaching course where when I'm doing one-on-one coaching with people, there's certain resources I give to people, and what I want to do is make it streamlined to have the content as well as videos, extra videos, into a course format. And eventually what I'll do is I'll sell it as a group program, but in the meantime, my private coaching clients are going to get access to the course. So what I'm doing is I'm in the creative process right now of organizing the content, figuring out what content goes where in what order. So that's one of the projects I'm working on. And then 2 other projects I'm working on are 2 short films. So in May and June, I have 2 films that I'm going to be doing, short films, 5 to 10 minutes long or so, maybe 15 minutes. I'm not sure the length maximum. And so I'm doing research right now on those films. And basically, I always look at the creative process like this, right? Sometimes the creative process in the beginning is super easy because that's the time when your ideas are like all over the place. You're very excited about things. And then sometimes there's like the messy middle where you're kind of tired of working on the same thing and it's not finished yet, and you're like the adrenaline part goes down, and sometimes it's hard for creatives to finish what they start, right? Unless you have a deadline, or unless you've gotten yourself disciplined enough to actually follow through on things. And so right now I'm in the beginning, sort of in the middle stage of the course, and I'm in the beginning stages of doing research for the films. So with the films, there's 2 topics that I really got the theme for. So I do films for a nonprofit where I basically write content and I direct content, and then I work with a videographer to bring my ideas and my stories to life, right? So I'm in the midst of figuring out what those stories are for those 2 films. I have the topics are, it's going to be Asian Heritage Month in May, and then it's in Canada, and it's Filipino Heritage Month in June. So I need to have themes around those, and I've interviewed where I live who are of that heritage. So I'm looking at some of their oral history interviews that they've given me, but some of them I'm not sure if I want the content for the films. Because they're short, I need an exciting theme, right? So what I've done today is I spent a lot of today working on my course, and then working on brainstorming ideas for the films. And how I do that work is, for instance, I'm focused on the Filipino topic today. And so I have a lot of people that I know in the Filipino community, and so I don't want to just like write their story for them. It's about asking them, what are the stories that you want to tell, or giving them some ideas So it's not just like a blank page, but me saying, these are some themes that I've come up with. These are some stories. These are some people I've researched. What do you think about this, right? Because I will probably be doing interviews for these videos and really collecting them in a way to tell that story. And so I spent a lot of time today. First off, I was researching organizations and people in Mississauga where I live that might have a really interesting story. And I came across this woman's YouTube channel. And there's a festival where I live that's this multicultural festival that happens every year. And because of COVID, it hasn't been in person, it's been virtual. And what they did for virtual is they had people do cooking, right, for the specific community that they were presenting. So I found this girl on this festival Facebook page where she was doing cooking for Filipino cooking. I said, oh, interesting. Let me see where that takes me. And I ended up on this really local YouTube channel of this woman who's probably in her 50s or 60s. I'm not actually sure how old she is. And she basically has her own YouTube channel, Filipino cooking. And, you know, the most viewed video was like 7,000 views. And then sometimes she gets 100 views, right? So she's not like she's not like a famous chef or anyone. She's just some lady that started her YouTube channel. And then somehow this festival picked up that she does cooking. So I started watching these videos and they are hilarious. Like some of them she was cooking, some of them she was doing karaoke. Like they were just, you know, really cool and really interesting. So what I did is I like noted some shots, like a shot list of if I were going to do maybe her story, shot listing ideas of, oh, okay, it'd be cool to have her in a karaoke, you know, she does karaoke at her home, or it'd be cool to have like a shot of her cooking with her daughter. It'd be really neat to have a shot by the water because we live by the Lake Ontario. So there's things that like start happening when you start having an idea of what you want to create, and then when you start doing that, all these ideas come forward. So from there, I was also looking at other websites to get ideas of maybe, you know, I'm just narrowing down the topic, right? So that is one potential topic for the video, that lady. And then I'm looking at other topics. I was noticing there's these dance troupes that I could maybe tell their story. So it's really just like digging in and finding out what would be an interesting topic to interview someone, make their story come alive. And then the next thing I did is I started looking at short films. So I always do this to get re-inspired to write a film. Is I always go to the film festivals, and there's thousands and thousands of film festivals, and I look at other short films, whether it is a mystery, comedy, documentary style, but I look at them to look at shot list ideas. I look at them to figure out like how are they telling the story, what is the style that they're using, so that then I can say, oh, I like that, that's kind of cool, I like that idea. And so what that does, I'm not stealing their ideas, I'm not taking that idea. What I'm doing is like, do I want my film to kind of have this feeling to it, like comedic or dramatic, or what is the feeling that I'm getting, and how do I want to tell my story? And so that's also what I did today. I binge watched a ton of short films, award-winning ones, and just like thinking, what would be a story, like when I look at these films, what interests me, right? What aspect of that film holds my attention? Or do I get bored after the 2-minute mark, right? Because that can happen where you start watching something and you're like, okay, I'm bored of this, right? So it's really important to see what is holding my attention. And so that is really the beginning of the creative process, as I look at all different areas, and it takes me like down this like road of I have no idea where it takes me, and then I start writing notes. So I'm just going to share some of my notes that I did. Let me just find it. Where is it? I put it in a folder on my desktop. 2 seconds. I'm also waiting for food to arrive today. I barely ate today because I get these Good Foods or HelloFresh or Chef's Plate packages in the mail that come to my doorstep, not in the mail. Too big a boxes to go in the mail. And they haven't arrived yet. I'm like, why can't they arrive at the beginning of the day? Okay, so, whoops, what? Okay, here we go. So, why is that doing that? That's strange. I'm opening up a Word document. It's taking me to PDF. Have you guys ever had that happen before? Here we go. Let's see if this works. Okay, that was very strange. Whoa. Oh, you know why? Because my tripod's on here. That's why it's doing weird things. I was like, what the heck is happening? Okay, so here we go. Let me just read off this. Can you still see me? So I was looking at references. So what I do when I write down things is I basically write, or I'm going to just put this here while I read it off. Can you see me okay? Okay, good. It's going to move over here. I've got a miniature tripod today. Usually I put my tripod on my ring light, but my ring light is broken right now. I have another kind of like bright light in front of me today. I bought another type of light that I'm trying out. Okay, so I have a section where I write, like I add all the links that I've done for my research, right? So I have the research of the links, I have references, and then I just like write my thoughts, right? I have a section that's called thoughts. So I have like a links area and then a thoughts. And so I have like thoughts like why this person started their YouTube channel, getting ingredients of shopping, like shot list for that. And the reason why I came up with that is I saw another video, which was a short film of this lady that is searching for her father, and she was like on the corner of the road and like going to different cars, and I thought, oh, it'd be cool to do an outdoor shopping for ingredients shot list, right? What else do I have? Karaoke, and also I was thinking about Chef's Table, because Chef's Table is a TV show where they do really close, beautiful shots of famous chefs. And so that's just what I was doing. I was like, okay, this is a reference from here, a reference from here, a reference from here. And if you watch movies, you'll notice that people take references from other movies, or it helps them with the ideas or shot lists. So it's always something that it's not like you get copied from other people. You just like take all these different references to really help you with your vision and to help your vision come to life. So you can really take that like huge, all those ideas you have, and then like kind of like sift through the different references and ideas, and then go like, that's the way I want to take this video. So that's what I've been doing today. I wanted to give you an idea of my creative process, how it works, and I kind of wanted to share that with you today because I have done quite a few films, and I've done, I don't know, 8 films now, and maybe not that many. I should check my website how many films I've done. I think I put them all up there. Let me just tell you how many films I've done. I don't know why. Why not just share it with you? Films. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. More than 6. I guess I only have 6 on my website, but I know I've done more than that. And the majority of them are like 3 to 5 minute long, but I do have a couple that are like 20 minutes or 15 minutes, and some are documentary style. A lot of them are documentary style, but some of them are like voiceover, where I tell the story that I write and then have imagery go on top. So those are that's sort of the styles that I focus on, is documentary style or voiceover on top of imagery style. So that's what I'm doing today. So I hope that was kind of cool for you to learn about. In terms of my coaching course, because I know a lot of people on here do coaching, and how I'm putting that together, a lot of what I'm doing is I'm taking the work that I've done with my clients prior to now, and I'm categorizing the type of things that they need to learn, like categorizing marketing, categorizing sales, categorizing brand strategy, categorizing business foundation, and then creativity and innovation and mindset and energy, and putting the content into buckets, right? So that they're not overwhelmed with themes when they come into my course that are like, oh, I want to learn about sales, here's where I go, or I want to learn about content creation and marketing, here's where I go. So that's what I'm doing. That's why it takes a while, is because I'm sifting all the content that I already have and going to create new videos around specific categories that then I will put the course in those specific categories, which will then make the modules, right? So I'll have like 5 to 8 modules. So I'm really trying to bring it down to 5 modules, but I may have 6 or 8 modules. And that's the idea, is like, you know, you don't want people overwhelmed with your course or your group program. You want people to really know where to find stuff. And so I find that the courses I learn best with have, you know, maybe 5 to 7 to 8 modules, rather than like 100 modules, and then it's overwhelming. So that's what I'm currently doing, is figuring out whereabouts my content can go into the modules, and figuring out, the other thing I'm doing is figuring out value statements of how to promote the modules and how to really talk about what's actually in the modules. So that's all I have for today. I'm trying to make these shorter than usual, just because I think that it's good to have like 10 to 15-minute videos, and then you can get on your way and do what you got to do. I could talk forever, half an hour to an hour, but I know that sometimes I just ramble on, and I'm finding that it's good to get to the point. Although I'm not saying I won't do a rambly video again someday. So thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in coaching with me, I would love to connect with you. I focus on 3 areas, which are your intuition, which is the mindset and energy piece of building your business, really getting you on board, helping you deal with your self-sabotaging behaviors, but also getting you committed and disciplined with new habits using your mindset and energy practices. The next part, and so I line it up with intuition. The next part is influence. So we work on your sales and marketing, which make up your influence, because you want to get visible. You want to be selling and marketing to people to get yourself out there. And so we really focus on upping your influence that way. And the last piece is innovation, which will encompass your creativity and leadership elements of your business, and ways to become more creative, ways to figure out your methodologies and really become different than anyone else by really saying, this is my leadership, this is how I'm different, this is what I stand for. And so that's more in the innovation process, because I believe that every business needs to innovate, and you need to tell people how you're innovating, and you need to come up with creative ideas, and you need to lead the pack that way so that people come to you for your ideas. They come to you because, yeah, there's a lot of coaches that teach the same thing, but because you're doing something differently, or maybe it's your take on it in your brain and your ideas, they're coming to you because of, you know, all that, your education, your training, your whatever it is, right? So, you know, there's so many coaches that teach business strategy and mindset work. They're on the line, right? There's tons. But why am I different, right? And why are you different? I mean, for me, I know I'm quite different because I come from the advertising industry for like 10 years. I was in the number one creative industry. I mean, I guess it's not number one. There's also the entertainment industry, but it's kind of like part and parcel with the advertising industry, because a lot of entertainers are also in advertising. So actually there's a lot of film directors that also have directed TV commercials. A lot of them got their start in that. And I've worked with documentary filmmakers too. And myself, I'm also a creative. So I do come with that creative bent, having been creative my whole life and been in a career where I was creative and continuing to do filmmaking and writing along with my coaching. So I still have my foot in that door rather than just focusing on coaching. I think it's important for people that are creative and that have a lot of ideas and are visionary. If they want to really tap into a creative mind and how the creative mind works, that's like a really huge thing for me. And also my spiritual background, right? I have 3 yoga teacher trainings. That is a massive part of me in terms of mindfulness and meditation, but also understanding mindset and doing the coach training with Coactive Coach Training Institute. Well, now it's called Coactive Training Institute, but that's where I learned how to coach there. And I was also in sales. So I was in sales my whole career in the advertising industry. So I always had to pitch creative people to advertising agencies, production companies, and that kind of thing. So I managed a sales team as well. So I literally have hands-on. And then from there, I've taken my coaching to kind of encapsulate my whole career of being in the creative industries and coaching people. That a lot of people come to me who are creative. A lot of people that feel that they're creative. Maybe they're a coach, or maybe they see themselves as a freelancer, but they know that they're creative, or maybe they just want to like tap into their creativity a little bit more than they are right now. Or they're people that are already creative, but they want to make their business explode, and they want to learn the marketing and strategy side of things, right? So that's really my difference and I also have a post-grad in journalism, so I'm really good with copywriting and copy editing people's content. And that's another thing that I love to do, is really looking at content and working with words and playing around with words. And with a journalism background, I had the ability to actually be a stand-up reporter, like kind of an intern reporter at one point, where I would go out with a reporter on weekends and get a news story and then write it, copy, and it would go on air. That was just like my internship. And then I ended up moving to the UK, where I actually got a job at a publishing company, and that's how I ended up in publishing career. but I ended up on the sales side of publishing, which is a whole other story, which I won't go into. But anyway, if you're interested in working with me, all you have to do is send me a message. I would love to hear from you. I feel like this video keeps glitching, so I hope it's not the case when it plays back, because I'm like, why am I moving my hand so slow? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Send me a message. I would love to hear from you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.